Well, I'm going to be a bit subversive because I'm going to tell you all you should be working for free. I want to start with two concepts that you're probably familiar with. One is the idea of the unpaid internship and the nightmare that comes associated with it. The idea that we'd all be working, doing internships forever and ever, and never have proper jobs, never be paid, because that's the economy, it's the way the economy is going. The second idea is that of Berlin being a big city of projects, right? So everybody has a project. Be it art, computers, whatever, but it's all, not worth it because it's not real work, it's not proper work. So my issue with these two concepts is that the underlying idea of them is that life and a career are somehow linear, and that everything you do should have an immediate financial reward to it. And I think that's bullshit. Wait for the bullshit? Here we go, okay. So I think that work is actually an investment. You invest short-term into money, and you invest long-term into learning, into friendships, relationships, into prestige maybe, and ultimately happiness. And sometimes the two things are compatible, but sometimes they're not. And when they're not, you shouldn't neglect the second. So when I finished university, I did something very stupid. Or at least my parents told me so. I moved to Barcelona. Instead of doing a master's degree or traineeship, I moved to Barcelona and started working for an expat magazine. And for a few years, I was writing articles about air guitar championships. I was writing about Peruvian elections. I was making a magazine basically for free. I did loads of stuff for free. And I do not regret a thing, because I got to work with some incredibly talented people who are still amongst my closest friends, who I learned from, and who then opened doors for me later that I wouldn't have had access to otherwise. So I've kept up the habit of always having at least one side project. At the moment I have 3. But the idea is that I also support other people's side projects, because side projects have a way of becoming main projects. So I probably wouldn't be in my current job at Etsy if I hadn't called up my now boss, who I didn't know at the time, and asked her to write for free for a magazine that I was making for free. We met up, sat down, got on well, and here I am. Right? So you may say, okay, this might work very well for creative people, but I think it goes further, and I would like to introduce you to my sister's boyfriend, who is a car mechanic for BMW, and he's also a very passionate amateur chef. And he's about to invest half his annual vacation into working for free at a very good restaurant in Munich. That restaurant obviously will be making money of him working there, and you could say, well, they're exploiting him, but he doesn't see it that way. He actually thinks, well, this is a really great opportunity to learn something with some really great people. And I think that's really important, that you don't forget, that you don't miss out on opportunities to learn, only because you're not getting paid. So take this talk, for example. I don't get anything out of standing here talking to you, right? I don't even particularly like public speaking, I'm quite nervous. But I probably, by the end of today, I would have met some of you who I wouldn't have met otherwise. And who knows what will come out of this? Something great, right? So, from time to time you get these questions, what's your 5-year, what do you see yourself in 5 years' time? And I've never been able to answer that question. I've made shit up for job interviews, but I've never really been able to answer it to myself, honestly. The only thing I can say is that I know that in 5 years' time, I want to be happy. So I'll be doing whatever will make me happy in 5 years' time. And it's quite likely that I will have found that activity through the serendipity provided by an unpaid side project. So, and I think that it's also quite likely that I will actually be paid quite well when I do that, because in my experience, when you do something that you really like doing, the money will come. So my message to you would be not to be afraid of not having a plan, and not to be afraid of working for free. Because I think if you work for free once, doesn't mean that you'll be working for free forever. And on that note, I leave you, and let's all go and have a beer.